we're going to give Bronson Reed a rub today. Because Bronson Reed, to me, was my favorite segment out of any show in wrestling this week. And this was last Monday, so we're recording this on a Sunday night. It's the end of the week, but it's been covered to death by the wrestling community. But I still want to discuss it on my show because I think it was great. And Vlad also gave it a great 2 thumbs up review, which we'll get to in a bit. Robert gave it a thumbs up, not a bad review. But let me go through the segment. All right, so this is Monday, hold on one second. Sorry about that. I forgot my sheet that I got our topics on today. Okay, so Monday, August the 26th, this past Monday, Bronson Reed. So he has a match with Braun Strowman scheduled, which was, kind of it's a scary matchup for wrestling experts because sometimes big guy versus big guy matchups don't work out that well. You know what I mean? And they're building up Bronson Reed. So we were a little worried about how this would turn out, but it turned out wonderfully. So let me go through what happened in the night before I get some reviews from our co-hosts today. Oh, well, this was a segment that we reviewed separately on our YouTube posts. By the way, the full review of Raw is on our YouTube posts, our community tab, by the way, anybody who's interested in that. We reviewed this whole episode of Raw. This segment with The Miz and Bronson Reed was a separate segment, which I liked, but Vlad doesn't like Bronson Reed really sticking with The Miz, but I think that would be a decent feud for both of them, to be honest. I don't see Bronson Reed becoming like a world champion, but it would be a good feud it's better than Tony Khan's cold matches, you know what I mean? But anyways, irregardless, if you want a review of that, did you have any comments, Vlad? Jump in. Feel free to jump in throughout this summary anytime.
Well, sure. I mean, anything is better than Tony Khan's booking, but that doesn't mean that I want him, Bronson Reed, who they're pushing pretty far. I don't know what the limit is to how far he can be pushed, but I don't want him to be dealing with The Miz. I'm sorry, The Miz is not a serious character right now. Like, okay, maybe he was like 10, 15 years ago, but not in 2024 going into 2025. That's all. That's why I don't want him messing with The Miz.
Yeah. No, I feel you. But hey, he is a former world champion, WWE champion. So
yeah.
But here's the match itself. So the match that was
I was going to say so is Vince Russo, but
and David Arquette. Hey,
and
come
David
on.
Arquette.
Oh,
You can't. The Miz is not Vince Russo or David Arquette.
No, that would be a cheap shot. No, he's not those guys for sure.
I think The Miz is pretty good, but let me move on. We're focusing on Bronson Reed today. He's facing Braun Strowman, who's pretty big. Like, you could see their size differential here. And the opening, I like the opening of it because Bronson Reed actually took a bump from Braun Strowman from the very first kick. Like, they sped into each other, and Bronson Reed bounced off the mat. Look at him taking a bump, this big guy. He's very skilled. He's a skilled wrestler. I like him. Here's him doing a tope suicida, which is impressive. We've seen a million of these, but come on. For these big guys, you got to admit, Vlad, that's worth watching. Braun Strowman catching Bronson Reed out of the air like that. So Bronson Reed went up for, I think, a top rope tsunami splash, and Braun Strowman caught him. And then this is where Bronson Reed kind of gave up on this match because he got suplexed off the top rope. So this led to him kind of giving up on this match and leaving, which I thought was kind of, in a way, kind of good because it gave him a personality. He's a chicken shit heel. Even though they're trying to build him up, I didn't think it mattered, especially based on what happened to end this scene. So we're looking at pictures now. Here's Braun Strowman chasing down Bronson Reed, and they're going to fight to the back. And this is them throwing weapons at each other. Well, that trash can fling was pretty fast. I put in slow motion there, but Braun Strowman was pissed. He grabbed a security guy in the back and flung him into the wall right here. And then they're going to fight into the parking lot. And here's some images of them going straight to the back into some cars. Here's Bronson Reed getting chokeslammed onto a car.
That was nice.
I think Braun Strowman tried to throw, what is this called? I don't know. It's like a big piece of metal at him, and he missed. Bronson Reed got out of the way. And then they continue fighting, and Bronson Reed, I think the thing that turns the tide is he's going to get a metal pipe, right? Like he grabs a pipe and whacks Braun Strowman on the head with it. And Braun Strowman's on a car, and then Bronson Reed climbs to the top of this wall. It's laid out perfectly. I don't know, whoever came up with this scene It looks great. The cinematography on it is fantastic. But here's the splash. I'm gonna put it in slow motion, guys. It looked wonderful. And then the car, I don't know if they figured out to make the car spark right there, but it looked fantastic. And all the windows broke, and here Bronson Reed drooling out of his mouth. So it really put him on the map, I think. And here's Adam Pearce coming in to end the segment, and it's weird because they don't want these guys fighting, but they do want them fighting because it's wrestling, right? They need the entertainment aspect of it. So who should I start with today? I'll start with Vlad. Vlad gave this a 2 thumbs up, and he really likes this angle so far. So since you're hot for it, I'll start with you before I go to Robert.
No, I mean, look, obviously I had some concerns with him having a match with Strowman. But because of, he's so huge, he's not really a great worker. There's not much you could do with him. Like, what is this match going to be? How is he going to splash this big guy 7 times or whatever the hell he needs to do as he's been doing, right? But this really was a great scene. I don't know if it was just because the convenience of the arena that they were in. It had this amazing, like, backstage parking lot area where you could do this type of stuff on, but it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It really looked great. The splash onto the car from where that fence is, he had to climb up there. It was tremendous. I enjoyed it. I've completely enjoyed almost everything about Bronson Reed since this whole thing has started with him, attacking Seth Rollins and everything that's happened since then. But this was a great, memorable moment. Him just splashing. The spark was almost perfect. Like, I don't know how they did that. Like, from the car, it was tremendous. It was like the cherry on top. Even if it didn't have the spark, I would have loved it. But that was like a cherry on top. It was just like, perfect. So I mean, there's not really much more I could add. I'm sure there'll be some people that will say some negative things that it was like, why would they, if there was something fake about it, I'm sure. I haven't heard Cornette's review, but whatever Cornette's review is going to be, if it's going to be negative, I'm going to disagree with that one because I really loved this. I loved everything about this one. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let me jump to Robert. So Robert's review of this on our YouTube post was a thumbs up. Robert hasn't been so hot for this Bronson Reed stuff like we are, but thumbs up is still a good rating. What did you think of this? Yeah.
So, okay, when this match was first advertised, I kind of rolled my eyes. I expected to hate this match because usually when there's a match featuring 2 behemoths, I'm not very interested in it. The matches don't usually turn out great to me. So at the very beginning, I was just like, whatever. I watched it, obviously, but I wasn't really too into it at the beginning until they started taking the match outside of the ring. Then it got more interesting. They had a fight backstage, right? And then it got to then it got outside, and it got a lot better. So I predicted that I would give this a 0, actually, but it was a pleasant surprise. It turned out definitely a lot better than I expected. I wasn't expecting this, so this was really, really good. And yeah, I mean they have to establish Bronson Reed to be a beast, right? So what better way than to take out one big SOB? And he did just that.
All right. Well, I also gave this 2 thumbs up. So this was my favorite segment from the week. So I was very pleased with this. I thought it was a good episode of Raw. I actually thought Dynamite beat Raw this week, but we'll discuss Dynamite later. But this was the best thing from Raw, in my opinion. But anyways.
Well, real quick. So you mentioned how far they can push Bronson Reed. Now, I don't really know the answer myself, but as I'm asking, but do either of you see him as a potential champion down the line, or some maybe not Cody's title, but like the title that Gunther is holding on to right now, potentially? Not like this very moment, but let's say a year from now or whatever.
Robert, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think he can be, but they need to stay on track, like what they're doing right now, they need to keep at it and keep building him to be on that level. But yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
Well, unfortunately, Vlad, I would like to say yes, but I'm going to say no, which is why I gave the Miz segment and Bronson Reed a good rating, because I think they're doing a good job building the mid-card. Since Triple H took over, they actually care a little bit. They're not just throwing out – they used to throw out the same match over and over again for mid-card matches. Now they kind of have stories. You know, they have the Pure Fusion Collective and Damage Control feuding with each other. At least it's like something. So I think the mid-card is getting worked on, and this is going to be like making the mid-card a strong place and an interesting place. So, yeah, I do think The Miz and Bronson Reed are going to end up feuding. I don't expect to see Bronson Reed being in the main event for the title. I mean, maybe he could be just to take a loss, but I don't think he's going to be a champion or anything like that. So I think he's doing well, though, for what it is. I want the whole show to be good, top to bottom, not just the main event. I want the mid-card matches and the mid-card feuds to be interesting as well, so that when I'm watching Raw, I don't have to forward. I could just leave it on and enjoy the whole thing, you know? So here's my thought on that.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. That's fun.
All right.